GGD P5, the new drum library by the periphery gods themselves. The question is though, can I create a Reaper template for you guys once again by only using the free plugins that would sound as good or even better as the processed GGD Turbo presets? Let's find out. Let's compare this mix with the standard GGD P5 full turbo preset. I'll just load it up again so that you can see that it is completely unaltered. Let's take a listen. Quite a difference, right? My GGD template adds modern top-end sheen and polish, overall richness and fullness to the drums, as well as a little bit of sonic signature of mine, which you may love or not. But if you do, go and download this full template for free by following the link in description and use it to your advantage in your songwriting, maybe even mixing sessions. Share it with your mates, enjoy, have fun. I want you to spend less time tweaking and more time creating by using such things. Now on to how this was created, a little bit in more depth. Hey, I'm Dr. Mike Trubetskov, the mad scientist of metal, and I'm here to bring valuable information on metal production, recording and mixing. So mate, if you don't want to miss it out, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. So let's go! The goal of creating such templates for you is so that you can get a balanced and mix-ready drum tone immediately and focus on creating music and writing good riffs rather than wasting time mixing drums. You know, good riffs don't quite write themselves, and mixing is certainly not a riff writing process. By the way, I also aim to do a full metal mix templates for you at some point for each instrument specifically, and this would only be available for my email list subscribers. So, if you want to drop in your tracks into a template and sound sick straight away, do join my mailing list. Anyways, let's look into how this was made now. There are some sophisticated methods that I used in order to achieve these tones, and I understand that this tone is not for everybody exactly, but I think it provides a really balanced and quite modern tone in my opinion. However, this mix still sounds like my mix. You may like or dislike this in terms of the taste, and let me know in comments whether you think that this is a good tone and whether you enjoy it. First thing first, we're using Contact 7. I'm using this tastefully processed preset, and I carefully went in and dialed in some turbo for different elements, but not too much of it, because I wanted to rely on my own processing. Then Contact is routed out accordingly, and this is quite a sophisticated thing to do with the Contact and Reaper, so this is one of the advantages of you having this template. Kick is routed into the kick, snare, top and bottom goes into the snare, all toms go into the tom bus, then all these three go into the shells bus. Plus we have some parallel processing, which I will discuss later on. And then we obviously have overheads with all the cymbals and rooms with all the rooms. And all of that jazz goes into the drums output bus. Then there are two parallel compression layers, parallel saturation layers, drum reverb and snare reverb layer, and all of that is summed out into the GGD drums sum bus. So this is it. It's relatively sophisticated, but it deserves this approach. Now, this drum mix is heavily based on Buster's mix approach. And so let's take a look at those aspects and see what in particular makes this sound the way it sounds. I don't want to focus on individual EQ moves too much because I think there is enough information out there. Starting with the kick with all the elements disengaged, and I'll just go one by one and explain what these do. This is pretty self-explanatory, some EQ, some significant compression with TDR Kotelnikov, sounds good, more compression, clipping. This just makes your kick sound more flat, which is desired in modern music. I really like the tone of this K Clip 0 as well, and it's free obviously. And some Paltec. Which changes the tone quite a bit. So you get this sound in stages, with each plugin doing a little bit of lifting but not too much. Snare. Cutting out those mids for extra tone. More EQ. Compression. With this compressor, you may want to achieve more sustain to your snare, therefore I kept the release a little bit longer than normally. This is quite an important element to highlight. You can use this Rough Rider 3 almost like a distressor with a fast attack, fast release, blending it a little bit in the mix and taking out quite a bit with very heavy ratio. See how much snap, extra snap, and almost distortion-like character it gives? I like it. More clipping. And some extra low end to make it fatter. And then quite an important thing happens on the kick and snare bus. Following Buster's style drum mixing, you can compress the shells bus quite hard in parallel, like this. Compress it more. And then saturate. Without. And now with. See how much more curved in and contained the drums become? This is due to the application of this significant compression to the shells bus. The other thing that you can try stealing from Buster's mixing approach is your Snare Low channel, and I similarly mirrored it as a kick low. The idea behind the Snare Low is that you implement a heavily filtered snare send and phase inverted, so that it sounds like this. And I've done the very same thing with the kick, but I didn't invert the phase, as otherwise it sounded weird. And now if you blend these two in, it makes your drums sound fatter and adds the missing frequencies that you would struggle to get back otherwise. Another thing is kick and snare parallel distortion, which sounds like this. And you can EQ into this distortion, taking out the annoying build-up of frequencies. And again, it makes your shells sound a little bit more present, and I think that gives a modern undertone to drums. This is obviously too much. Somewhere here is good. All of these have been quite carefully dialed in. Nothing too fancy going on with the overheads and rooms. Just some compression and EQing and saturation. But then with the drum bus itself, I'm compressing the drum bus with TDR Kotelnikov once again, with the high-pass filter set at 300. This is quite important as it allows kick and snare to breathe, yet clamps them down in a transparent and nice way, SSL style. And then you can clip that bus again somewhere. Just a little bit. Some parallel compression here. fast attack, fast release. And another one. With slower release to let it breathe more and more sustain. This really lifts the drums up, man. And now the final thing that I wanted to show you is this here. Drum reverb. Heavily compressed, fast. Using this super massive here. EQ the build-up of low mids out and then phase inverted as well. And same with the snare. Both are phase inverted as per Buster's approach. Check it out. If we keep the straight phase polarity, low mids kind of start to build up in a unpleasant way and then inverted back. That sounds tighter. So this is it on how I made this template for you guys. I don't want to dwell on this for too long because I don't think that the purpose of this video is a mixing tutorial or anything, because you will get this Reaper template with GGD P5 routed out and properly processed, and you can just see for yourself what it is about. I hope that you find it useful, really do, and I hope that you can apply it to your next productions. And until then, let me know how you find it, let me know what you think in comments, let me know whether this was valuable and useful to you. Share it with your friends if it is the case. And until next time, take care.